Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today we have a match between Spirit and Rogue. They played an absolute banger of a game about 2 weeks ago, and apparently they've played some more, this time on Killer's Mile, one of the new maps from the Team Liquid map contest number 20 that has made it into the standard map circuit of a couple of tournaments at least. And we're seeing these two absolute beasts fight each other once more, as Spirit opens up with a command center first, the greediest of Terran openers, the one that gets the biggest amount of economy, no scout as well over here, so absolutely the greediest build with the greediest execution as well. And I'm always surprised that we don't see this build more frequently, because I feel like Zerg players never really punish it. There were periods in which Beyond would play this build practically every single game, then he quit with it altogether. Spirit is one of the few players that still likes employing this build every now and again. A lot of other people just don't like it for whatever reason. It looks extremely powerful. Ooh, Reaper just barely misses those two links. As the Reaper is just gonna move back. Sees these bodies sprawled around. It's like, holy crap, what happened over here? Just went back home to make sure that these links can't deal any damage. No early scout as a result. We see Rogue, by the way, opening up with... I know it sounds weird to say gasless when you see an extractor building, but this is what we would kind of consider gasless, because it's a very late gas. So the early game was gasless. You're not going to get quick speed. Most likely the first units that he's going to be building will be roaches rather than more links. I'd be shocked to see speed start and more links on the way. But you know, it is Rogue. Rogue is one of the players that has done a lot of crazy stuff in the past. It's going to continue surprising me every single time as well. We got a starport on the way in the main base and a third CC as well coming out. Most likely Spirit here looking to get a couple of Banshees out, and indeed it's going to just be that classic Roach Warren after the initial gasless opener. Single gas, you can get 3-4 roaches. Sometimes we even see Zerg players go for like a fake roach push. Ooh. Rogue actually building a second extractor in vision of the ramp. So I wonder if it's a fake or if this is for realsies. Here comes Spirit with the scout. Oh, fake link speed. He's opening up with fake link speed right now. That is really cool. He's pretending like his link speed is about to finish, I guess. He's gonna cancel this. Yep, there we go. As the Hellions do go in, see the second extractor. They're actually gonna get a couple of kills here. Might just stay with an actual couple of kills. As two drones go down. Spore Evo wall doesn't quite go up, but it doesn't matter. As two Hellions die and only 2 drones end up falling. We're going to need a queen positioned over here between the Roach Warren and the wall. As 2 more Hellions are just gonna run in. Very frequently is the response to scouting a Roach Warren is to just go in whenever you can with Hellions and see if you can get as many drones as you can, because the moment the roaches are out, these Hellions are practically useless. Like, they're not great at run by defense if they run by with roaches. They're not great at harassing anymore because roaches just pretty much stop them. So this is often the answer out of Terran players. The moment they see a Roach Warren or any amount of roaches, like, okay, I just want to run these by. Even if I only get like 2-3 kills, I'm going to be fine with it because I'm not going to get anything else done with them anyway. No Spore over here quite yet. On the third base, as these Hellions are not completely going to sacrifice their life. Cloak starts. Yes, Hellions now coming from the side. It's gonna cost him like 5-6 extra drones here. Very nice harass out of Spirit so far. As this Banshee really positions itself on top of the Spore. Not sure if that was the most brilliant play. Taking a lot of damage here as well. Third CC has finished up. We're seeing the extra barracks being added. As wait, it's gonna be... Surely this factory is gonna move over to the tech lab, right? I do not think that Spirit is gonna open up with mines after scouting a pure roach opener. Infestation pit about 5 minutes, and what was that, like 30 seconds in? This is an insanely quick Hive rush. Rogue already has 70 drones as well, despite losing... What are we at? 10 drones. He's back to 70, because really he hasn't built any units except these 4 roaches and the 2 links in the early game. Yes, he took a little bit of damage, but the unit cuts that he's made in this game pretty much undo all of that damage, right? If you're building like 20 links early, that's also 10 drones. And he really didn't build 20 links early. He built 2 links early, or 1 set of links early on. Got 8 more drones on the way. He's going to oversaturate his bases quite a little bit. as Hive could start at any moment. There we go. Carapace upgrade level 1 on the way as well. We have the double Evo chambers. It is crazy to see a Hive start before the first attack upgrade, by the way. That is a move and a half, let me tell you, as these two Banshees are going to get 4 more kills over here. Sensor Tower is already active on Spirit's side of things. Spirit, well known of being a bit of a passive player. A little bit of a passive player. Does not mind sitting back and doing as little as humanly possible. Big fan of the bunker, big fan of planetaries, big fan of getting as many orbital commands as he can. He loves money and he loves defensive structures. And as I say that, I now realize we're actually going to Atrax. We're actually going to Atrax. Rogue instantly scouts this though. He instantly sees this. He says, hey, wait a second. You're Atraxing against me? Brother, my Vipers are going to be out before your second tank hits the freaking field. Like, this is... I'm not the guy you want to Atrax. I'm just not. And I think Rogue might just be right about that. I don't think he is the guy you want to Atrax. Hive finishing up right now. Like, Vipers are legit going to be out at 8:30. That is so freaking fast. That is such a fast set of Vipers that's going to come out here. 6 more Overlords on the way as well. We see these Marines snipe a couple of OVs, meaning that Rogue is going to be supply block. Not the end of the world, because I don't think Rogue is going to be adding in any more drones. He already has the eco that he wants and needs in order to stop this. All he needs to do is get Vipers out, get a bunch of Roaches, couple of Ravagers in the mix. He has the Hydras already for potential anti-air in case you want to clear some medevacs. But yeah, this is looking very, very poor right now for Spirit. I don't think he's going to be capable of killing his opponent. Maybe you can find a good position here and clear a couple of workers. There are only 4 bases, which means that in my mind, Rogue needs to defend all of them. He can't just afford to lose a base. So these Vipers not having energy quite yet is actually pretty freaking bad, as Marines are now streaming in as well. They're going to split up and start fighting some of these drones. 4 drones going down already. Every single tank has fallen at this point, as the Roach Ravager Hydra is just clearing up this force. And in the end, only 6 drones end up going down, and Spirit's entire army disappears off the face of the earth. 2-2 is on the way, so he might get a bit of an upgrade lead. Oh, it's gonna survive here, just barely. 8 Marines in that medevac. Roach Warren is being rebuilt. Wait, did the Vipers get cancelled or did they get killed? Oh, they got cancelled. Oh, that's a wild move there out of Rogue. Realizing that he wasn't going to get the time to gather energy, is that I'd rather have something else in its place. And whether it was the Ravagers, you know, using the gas for Ravagers, or just a couple more Roaches and Hydras, I'm not entirely sure. But either way, it worked, because he's in a good spot right now. He's starting his own 2-2. We have Ghost on the way behind this for Spirit, so quick transition into those late game units already. Rogue is just kind of moving across the map. Should be capable of actually clearing this tank and probably forcing a lift up on this 3rd base as well. Rogue is a little bit indecisive though as he moves back home. Could have definitely forced a lift off, but forcing a lift off might not have been enough damage if meanwhile there's 60 Marines shooting Queens and drones in your natural. You see 2 Queens going down already, couple Roaches falling here as well. At the same time, 4th base in some serious trouble. This counterattack drops are dealing some serious damage, more damage than the initial push dealt. It's going to just abandon these Marines. It's going to send them into the main base, see if we can get a couple more drone kills in there. 2 bases fall at the same time. And that means that Spirit right now is actually going to be out-mining his opponent by a pretty significant margin. Of course, the 6 mules that are mining are also helping when it comes to that. Do we have a 4th CC? Okay, yeah, this is the 4th CC. This is the 5th CC. So a double expand here for Spirit. I mean, Rogue will also need to double expand, but he doesn't really have the cash for it. He can't even construct the 2nd hatchery right now, which is, quite frankly, pathetic. Overlord's gonna get maybe taken out. No, we'll survive for now. 2-2 upgrades halfway done. Hatchery over here on the 4th base. What is this? 7 Ghost. Bunch of Marines. Couple of tanks. We're kind of turning this game into... I wanted to say a late game, but both players are in like mid-game worker counts. Spirit has 71, Rogue has 65. Like, this can't really turn into a late game until you're properly mining out of 8 gases and have enough mineral eco to sustain yourself over longer periods of time. So it feels like we're kind of playing the extended version of the mid game. That's just what it is. It's the extended version of the mid-game. He's playing with the mid-game compositions, but Spirit is playing late-game compositions with bad eco. Although his tank count also is quite pathetic. It's a weird spot that we find ourselves in. We have pneumatized carapace. That is a crazy upgrade to get, by the way. That is legit a crazy upgrade to get here if you have no money. Because this is such a kind of a niche upgrade. Like, what are you gonna do? Drop 2 lurkers? Most likely not. So I think this is just for the overseers to keep up. Rogue is a big fan of the overseer generally. Huge overseer fan. Massive overseer fan. Loves building those guys. Overlord's gonna get sniped over here. We have 6 marine on the far left. We have a planetary in the middle. We have a 5th base that's gonna turn into a planetary as well. And 3 more command centers on the way, which I think will turn into orbital commands at some point in the near future. So Spirit is going to be setting up for that late game right now. Rogue feels like he's setting up for a lurker attack. He keeps a low drone count, low economic profile, no Baneling Nest yet either. Usually in this type of scenario, you still want to add a late game Bane Nest in order to have something to deal with the higher ghost counts. But if you're not getting the Baneling Nest, dealing with Ghost is going to be quite the freaking struggle. So this Lurker is going on a journey and a half. Where are you going, brother? Ooh, all the way to the 5th. It's cool to see him. It's gonna get spotted by this sensor tower a long way ahead. This 5th base is in some trouble. Rogue's gonna be trying to take this bad boy, but not sure how successful that's going to be either. Double nidus networks now on the way, have not been scouted quite yet. We do see some scans now coming out. Might just accidentally scan the double nidus, which would be a fairly big deal. If you're mentally prepared for it, you can also physically prepare for it by, for example, leaving a tank in your main base. Oh, there come a couple of abducts. Hydra count is big enough here in order to clear all these medevacs. Taking out 3 medevacs like that doesn't mean that stims are becoming a little bit more expensive. Okay, here comes the scan on top of the niduses. So he does see the nidus networks. At the same time, we have a lurker now harassing the 5th base. As nidus number 1 goes down. Nidus number 2 hasn't started yet. I guess he doesn't care about it. Roach run by, heading in towards the natural at the same time. Oh, Spirit. He's not paying attention. Did not pay attention. And now this nidus is actually done. We see the lurker showing up as well. That is 4 lurkers that will burrow at an instant. New nidus worm comes down instantly as well. Roaches are starting to knock on the depot door as a tank kind of kites away from all the action. Bunker in some trouble. Tank in even more trouble. So that thing's gonna get sniped first. Buildings will need to start lifting in the main base. The double nidus here. Well, so far actually a single nidus, just putting in some serious work. We have 8 lurkers. Lurker over here did end up getting cleared, but 14 workers going down. Roaches getting traded out in a somewhat sustainable manner as well. This is one of the hardest things that zergs need to do once they hit a late game, is get rid of units that blow without just straight up losing the game as you throw these units out, you know? Because you are losing like 40-50 supply. Like, that is what he just did. So the fact that he's not straight up gonna die and he managed to kind of trade them out for something useful is a big deal. However, if we take a look at the overall supplies in the bank, I don't actually think Rogue is necessarily ahead. I think Rogue has a lot of momentum going for himself right now. I mean, he's still pumping these barracks filled with spikes. But if we look at the actual supply, then maybe not so much. If we look at the actual mining, I mean, it's 4 base. This 5th base I don't really count because I feel like it can die at any moment, any second right now. Like, Spirit is just going to walk over there and it's going to clear it. These hydras are also going to get taken out. Spirit's main base is still in shambles. We have 7 new barracks in production. We already have the upgrades that he needs. Once again, 5th base going to get taken out. Spirit in the awkward situation where he doesn't have a lot of production, but has decent income. And if he keeps these orbitals alive, he's also going to have pretty decent eco. I mean, he has 5 orbitals. Because I assume that this one's gonna burn down. Maybe you can save it. Would be really nice. That's a lot of cash, buddy. 550. Nope, it's just gonna die. It is the way that it is sometimes. This army is gonna get pushed back as well. Let's take a look at what's in production. Ooh, fat parasitic bomb here. Ooh, 3 medevacs or 4 medevacs went down there. I don't think we actually have a starport up and running. So that is scary. Nidus worm now coming down behind this 5th base, I think it is. This is a 6, so that's the 5th. Hell yeah. We still have lurkers on the high ground as well. Yeah, not having a starport does mean that Spirit is going to need to calm down with stims. Every stim is going to hurt a significant amount. This factory needs to... No, it doesn't need to finish up. He still already has a factory. He just needs to start a new starport. That's just the reality of things. Okay, here comes a stim forward. Ay, that is painful. These units are taking quite a beating. So do these lurkers. We still have some lurkers spread out in the main. He should have enough scans though, right? I feel like he has so many orbitals. I don't quite understand why we're being so slow with these tanks. Meanwhile, Rogue's gonna start moving across the map a little bit further. Has these Vipers in here as well. This 6th base is perhaps gonna be the target. 5th base is being healed up by these SCVs. Yeah, this lurker spread is really neat. It's really, really neat. It's a hassle to clean up, but not cleaning up is much worse. Like, I'd rather go through the hassle of cleaning it up than having lurkers shoot at my 3rd base the entire time. And having to have 3 tanks over here as well. I mean, that is just extremely frustrating for Spirit. Who is, by the way, out mining his opponent right now. Look at his mules. 5 mules is enough for him to take a serious mining lead. Melee upgrade, links on the way as well. Do we have Adrenal? We don't have Adrenal quite yet. We also don't have a Baneling Nest. I think that probably is going to be the next step as these Overlords are being sniped. First new set of Medevacs is now coming out as well. As, yeah, this single Medevac completely out of energy. Not going to be capable of doing anything useful here. 11 drones. Is this the first time in like 5 minutes that Rogue has decided to add in some more drones? I feel like it might be. Yeah, there's still no Adrenal glands. I'm not a huge fan of Ling Run buys without Adrenal. Especially if you also don't have any melee attacks. Like, these units are just going to be really bad. Like, there's no redeeming factor. I guess what he wants to do is clear these tanks. So he's waiting until there's no units nearby. He's just kind of spotting, he's checking. And then maybe he can go in with just the Lings. Oh, the Ling Viper. Oh, that's actually really cute. Dude, that's a good spot. Oh, that's really cool, actually. Okay, I take back everything I said about the Lings. If you go Ling Viper and you Blinding Cloud 3 areas, I like that. I absolutely do like that. What's the lurker count at? We're at 18, 4 more on the way. The Met geniuses will realize there's going to be 22 lurkers. We now have a Baneling Nest, that's what I'm talking about. Lurkers are being cleaned up in the main base, and so will these Nidus worms. Spirit did play it out kind of calm, you know? He did not panic a move into a 12 lurker setup. No, just kind of let it sit there and took it out in the end. So we're now going to get a big defensive move over towards the right. I'm not so certain if this base can be protected. These lurkers are very far in the back, but a lot of damage is being dealt in a very short amount of time as the planetary goes down. Tank in some trouble most likely as well, as it is going to fall here to these leftover Hydras. We have a small lunge in forward as well. The final tank, it's actually not going to get taken out. Bad control out of Rogue, as a couple more snipes are going to clear these lurkers. What is here defensively? What the hell? Oh, the Nidus actually got them back home. That's cool as heck. Wow, I didn't even realize that. I don't think Spirit realized that either, as he's now walking into a lurker. I was like, oh wow, that is not what I signed up for. Still no Adrenal glands on these Lings, by the way, and they just don't really pack a punch in that case. They just don't. They really don't. As Spirit is trying to reset this base. It's gonna send an orbital over. Resource loss is 31,000 to 27,000. So I guess economy is going to play a very big role in this game, as the trades are relatively even. Rogue has now entered the super lurker stage. 20 lurkers, 3 Vipers, that's it. I'm still kind of waiting for Adrenal, +3 melee, and then Baneling speed. Like, we don't have... We're really lacking that. We need it. I think you really do need it. If you want to play these heavy lurker Ling styles, or at least heavy lurker styles, it's just nice to have some Lings there and potential Banelings as well for any type of tech switch. You know, if you eventually want to tech switch, which usually you do, then that would be great. Okay, here come the Hydras. Once again going to just snipe this orbital command as well as this command center. I think both of them are actually going to end up falling. Oh, Ghost coming from the left side though. That is 1 lurker, that is 2 lurkers, that is a couple of lurkers. The 3 Ghosts are also going to get pulled in here with those abducts. As we get a triple boosted drop heading in towards the top side. This is one of the last remaining mining bases here for Rogue, who's gonna try to defend this with a single lurker, which gets sniped. These Hydras are gonna get taken out as well as a result, and everything here is just gonna die. I mean, you can't pull drones against Marine Marauder that is 3-3, especially if there's medevacs above them. That is a crazy move. I think Rogue might have just actually thrown his game here. Like, this base could have mined still. There was a lot of capacity left over. This base had just finished up. Did you really need to lose all 26 drones? I don't think so. Nidus Worm is pretty much a desperation play now. He just threw away a very good eco. He killed a base and was like, you know what? You can also have my base and all my drones. Like, you can rebuild a base pretty quickly, but building 26 drones, that is hella expensive. It really is. Especially if you still have capacity where you can mine from, then it's a super waste in my opinion. An absolute super waste. And a couple of snipes are now coming down. No overseers here in the mix. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Rogue. So greedy here without the overseers. Army value, 7,100. 4,100 for the Terran against 5k for, well, 3.5k for the Zerg. So a more expensive army for Spirit. A bigger economy still for Rogue. Spirit is actually, what is he mining from? He still has like 2 halves, basically. So he has a whole base. This is a little bit more even. Oh, this is actually pretty decent. Rogue is going to pop out here. Let's see if we can do something. Sniping the planetary is nice. There's really only 3 orbitals remaining. I thought there was going to be more. I thought there was going to be way more remaining there. As the planetary is not going to end up falling. We have a random command center over here. We have a random orbital just flying around. We have Lurker Hydra now in the natural, which is going to clear up a tank. The one Lurker remains and will get taken out before the scan runs out. This is also, by the way, the first time that Spirit might have trouble with scans. So he has 2 remaining on here. He's 1 remaining on here and about 2.5 on this bad boy. There's what, like 6 scans or so remaining. He might also want to throw down some mules at some point. So it's an awkward situation. Army-wise though, 20 ghosts does pack a fairly serious punch. That's -2 ghosts, that's -3 ghosts, -4 ghosts. Well, not a great start of the fight, but Snipes will also kind of turn that around. Just a lot of Hydra bodies there on the floor. She hit the floor. What do we have over here? 1 tank. Not a whole lot of anything else. I mean, if you clear both of these orbitals, that could be a play. We have a Lurker Hydra attack over here on this orbital command. Oh, you can't lose this. You can't afford to lose it, Spirit. Spirit. You really need to lift this. It is very important. Okay, at the same time, we have an attack from the high ground. As Rogue goes back into his Nidus Worm. Goes back to where he came from. The Zerg cluster. This thing is about to finish up. I mean, if we take a look at the income right now, it's 1,200 to 2k. It's because mules are not really being used, right? Like if you have 6 orbitals, you can use 3 orbitals for scanning and 3 orbitals for mules. But if you only have 3, you're probably going to want to use scans on every single one of them. He's also supply blocks, so I might even want to use some supply drops here. Ghost count is still phenomenal. There's no overseer here. Well, there are overseers, but they're far in the back. Spirit perhaps could have done something here. I think he realized this. There's nothing. Yep, there we go. Oh, actually, the splash of the Lurkers on the tank, killing a lot of these ghosts. Gonna get 1 tank in the mix. That was a lot of damage out of these Lurkers. As Spirit is just gonna move in with kind of a weird looking surround. Tanking some of these Lurker shots with the Marauders, and then the ghosts come in to shoot. I don't think there are enough Lurkers anymore to stop this force. We have 15 ghosts remaining and just 3 Lurkers. There are 17 Banes and 17 Hydras as well. But I do believe that this is just going to be it. Banelings being sniped. The moment that starts happening, it's usually a fairly bad sign for the Zerg player. These Banes are going to try to run in forward. Do get some okay hits, but it's 180 supply to 130. And despite Rogue's best attempts, I do believe he has lost this. I think those 26 drone losses on the left side were the deciding factor. GG, a Spirit wins. That's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.